Good afternoon. I'm gonna paint some pink flowers today. So right now I'm just gonna pick my darkest pink and I'm setting out which direction I'd like my flowers to face right now. So I have one who's going to open up in front of us, one that's going to be pointing upward and to the left. I'm going to want this color to bleed into a brighter pink. That's what I'm going to pull my petals out from. So there, I've got a couple petals already. Using the belly of my brush to create fluffy flowers. And then I have a few metallic pinks in here as well. So I might decide to pop in a few of those. I'm going to add in a little cherry pie. I want a different combination for this one. So I started with that darkest pink, Wildest Dreams, and I'm going to add strawberry. Just a beautiful combination. Hi, Eunice. Going to drop in a little bit more Wildest Dreams and let that bleed. What kind of flower is this? I'm getting some inspiration from a cherry blossom, a simple 5-petal flower really. I haven't decided how I will connect them yet. I might decide to go in with some branches like a cherry blossom. I just wanted to play with these colors particularly. So I'm going to do another Wildest Dreams combo here. I'm going to have this one pointing downwards. So I'm kind of giving myself an outline of where I want it to be. And I'm going to use Peppermint Kiss for this one, a different sweet pink. Hi, Blue Crayon. Really, all of these pinks are beautiful. I can't pick a favorite. I have room for a few more. So if I'm going to connect them, if that's what I want to do, it looks like I could have a branch coming in here, have a little bit of a deviation here, main flower, and then have it kind of ramble down here. Thank you, Jay. So I'm going to add a few more flowers, maybe one head-on again down here, but smaller, and then another profile one. Thanks, Jamie. I'm going to go for even more pinks on my palette here. So this one is Hibiscus. That's a really pretty bright one. A rose is very fitting for all of this pretty pink that I'm using. I'm gonna go dab in a little bit more of that Wildest Dreams. Same in here. know I want to put a few more blooms in here and maybe a couple really tiny buds, but I think I am going to go with that cherry blossom sort of feel, or even like a dogwood. And I am going to add in some brown. So this just helps me figure out where I want my branches to go and to just keep it very, very loose. Thank you, Carolyn. That's really sweet. Could even have multiple branches, but I think that's pretty good. I'm gonna put sort of like a falling petals. Thanks, Keely. Just not to overwhelm with brown branches everywhere. And maybe some green little leaves in some places, again, to break up that brown color. So let me do just a few petals that look like they have just fallen off. Let's do a peppermint kiss. And then petal over here. Let's see, hibiscus, since that's close to hibiscus. And then a little bit of that darker color on the end. I think we do have to add some greenery in here. So I'm going to use canopy leaves. I'm actually going to switch. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush because that brush makes really big petals and big leaves. So I'm going to go for something a little bit more delicate now. And again, some falling foliage. I think that looks pretty good. I don't really want to add too much more to that as I paint another leaf or two. Maybe a tiny, tiny bit of brown at the base of those leaves. Thank you, Ava. I knew I wanted to use pink today, and I went from there. Eunice, you kind of inspired me to add that branch, and I really love how that looks, so thank you for making this even better than I expected. I'm just looking at it now, seeing if there's anything I want to add. Peggy, all of the paints I used in this painting are from KMS. I grabbed from a couple of different palettes that I have, but these are all just like mini sample palettes. So I used canopy leaves for my green, and then hibiscus, peppermint kiss, lots of colors from the February collection. I just didn't know which pinks that I was going to end up using. So this sort of dark darker reddish color. That's Wildest Dreams. That's my favorite pink that KMS has made. I think that's a really bold statement for me to say. I love so many of her pinks. So I'm looking again. I'm thinking, I think I want to do a leaf, just kind of swoop a leaf here, because I got all my greenery down here. And I don't want it to just start with brown. So I think I'm going to add just a quick one in there, and then I'm going to call this painting done. Thank you, Jessie. So we're going to, oops, didn't use all of my brush for that. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that now. I just wanted something over there. I feel much better now. All right, I think that's it for today. There we go, pretty in pink. Thanks so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for all of those likes. I really appreciate it. Thanks for each one of them. Thank you for the rose, of course. Jamie. If you like this style, give me a follow. I'm painting live at around 4 p.m. Eastern pretty much every day of the summer. I'm on summer break, so I have the time for it. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day. Catch me tomorrow. Maybe I'll use a different color, but I don't know. Seeing all these pinks makes me want to paint with more pink. Yes, I think the floating leaves are my favorite. Although I really like that and that color pink, like that profile. I just like a lot of this. So thank you, CCI. Does anybody have any questions before I go on any of the supplies? I know I said them in the very beginning and then answered a couple questions. My brushes, I always forget to do this. Lily Lynn, I'm on the East Coast. 4 p.m. Eastern time is typically when I go live. I was a little bit on the later side today. But I have a dog, and I kind of just make sure to walk my dog and have her a little bit tired out before the lives, otherwise she wants to play. So it's really working on Zena's schedule. But I'm going to try and be around 4 p.m. Let's see, and then the petals brush I used for the leaves, and I think that was it, just the leaves. Oh, Lily Lynn, you are? That's awesome. What do you paint? Do you do flowers, landscapes, loose watercolor? Thank you. Loose flowers, Lily? Well, perfect. If you're also on Instagram, I'm co-hosting a loose floral watercolor challenge this week and next week. This week we have 2 flowers that we're trying to pair up together. I know this is a very popular style, I think. Peonies and delphiniums. So if you want to challenge yourself to come up with a way to include both those florals in a painting, we'd love to have you over on Instagram, #TracesWithPalacios. I have the same name over there, Palacios.paints, and I've got postings on that if you want to challenge yourself. And then next week, our 2 flowers are Icelandic poppies and buttercups. So I've got, you don't have Instagram? You could still do it here with the hashtag too. I don't post the same thing in both places. So I could still do some lives and paint them over here for next week. So please join us. I'll make a reel of this, post it, and then get some details in if you follow me. Yeah, buttercups are really cute. So let me show you. I did Icelandic poppies in that loose way, but I did it in my vintage book here. So this is just me kind of planning out what they're gonna look like, you know, what I want for my color palette and stuff. So I paint in this book sometimes just because it's got a lot of pages, so I don't go through it quite as much as my nice watercolor paper. So I plan on doing some Icelandic poppies here live around 4 p.m. Eastern next week, as well as some buttercups. So stay tuned for that. Oh, Lily, I'll still do all my postings on Instagram, but I usually post like the final picture. I don't really do reels and lives on Instagram as much anymore. Oh, don't be afraid of nice watercolor paper. I love Bauhung paper. I don't know if you've used it before. It's one of my favorites. I'm trying to think if I have anything nearby that's painted on it. This is handmade paper. This is pretty good. I do have Arches, you know, Lily, I wouldn't call it my nemesis, but it's not my go-to for even my nice watercolor paper. I don't have a good relationship with it either. But maybe there's other nice paper. Can we, some more of your work? Sure. I have some, let me show you. Okay. So I do loose watercolor florals like this. Sometimes I add ink to my florals as well. If you've been joining me for the past couple of lives, you might have seen these paintings before, so I'm sorry if you've seen it before. Let's see, some really old ranunculus. I painted a bouquet, that's kind of what that looks like. Love painting roses. For the groupings of the flowers, it's welcome for all mediums. You can just do ink or acrylic or anything like that. I just happen to love watercolor. This was a mixed media piece. I am not very well acquainted with that. I don't know what order my paintings are. I collected them on my desk. So this happens to be another ink and watercolor one too. Ink and watercolor, just watercolor. So I'm seeing these in this order kind of for the first time. Oh, I love these colors. These are my Boulder Colors paints. Love this one. Another Boulder Colors paints. These are paints made from plants. Intense. I have watercolor ink. And then that's from Daler Rowney, and then all of my watercolor paint that I use, they're all handmade paints. Mostly KMS. That's what that beautiful gold shimmer is on top of there. And then some of my smaller, this is all Strathmore watercolor paper. So that's actually watercolor ink that I used in there. Roses. So I think that gives you a good idea of my art. Ooh, I like that one. This is the Bauhung paper I mentioned earlier. It's got a beautiful texture to it. Well, if you love anything that you saw, all of these are available for purchase as a TikTok special. If you saw anything that you really liked on my TikTok, it's only $15. I'll put a listing up for you on Etsy. I don't normally like promote my work like that, but I've had a few questions, and I actually made a sale, and I haven't sold anything for a year because I don't, say I have a shop, but some really sweet people were asking before, and that made me happy, because otherwise it's just in this, that nobody sees anything in there. I am a teacher as well. The nice textured paper, Lynn, that was Bauhung. I can go get if you DM me, I can send you a link where I got mine. It's just off of Amazon, but I can send you the exact one because there are a few different ones that might pop up. And then this is that same handmade paper. Really intense. This is that same KMS pink that you see here. That's more KMS. And then my roses. I think I really love painting roses more than any other flower. Lynn, did you have a favorite flower? I know you said loose watercolor is your thing. Do you also like roses? They could be my nemesis some days, but I stick with it. I love painting poppies too. So this is a P for poppy. I was trying out a watercolor letter. I don't normally do that either. That was a little how-to do my cone flowers. This paint is actually from Mrs. Hand Painted, one of the watercolor handmade paints, watercolor and ink. Again, sort of loose petals. I don't do it a lot, but I do love it when I do it. Thanks, Leland. It was from workshop week, so I followed a tutorial for this particular one. All right. I think that's enough of my art. This is a big pile. Don't do enough vases, but again, when I do it, I love it. All right. Anything else that you'd like to know before I log off for today? Thank you, Liz. All right. I'll be back here around 4 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow to paint some more. Let's see. Tomorrow is Friday. So excellent. Zealand. I'm a chemistry teacher, Gemma's mom. Chemistry teacher, but I have a watercolor club at school. So 2 lunchtimes per month, we kind of meet together, eat and paint together. Other than that, I teach science. Right. Really enjoyed today's paint session. Thank you for chatting with me, making me feel like I'm painting with friends. As always, it makes the lives so much more fun. I'll make this a reel. I'll post about the watercolor floral challenge in that, so you can follow along over on TikTok if you don't have Instagram. Otherwise, I'm over there, same username. So you can follow me there as well. Otherwise, I'll see you again. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.